Well, shlabba, lava, ding dong. Welcome to it. This would be the Thursday edition. It better be good too because I'm missing Big Bang Theory. It is 7:16 on Wednesday night.
Uh-oh.
This is recorded, so for me to step away from young Sheldon and Kaylee Cuoco and Leonard and Wallowitz, this better be a good episode.
Yes, we know how hard it is for you, bro.
Before we get into all the stuff Trump has signed thus far and what he's going to sign upcoming, I want to start with this. This is pretty good, and this is continued or from yesterday's podcast. Again, you're here, you're watching this because you've subscribed. Thank you.
Thank
$2.99.
you very much. Thank you so much.
I wanted to have a math equation broken down. I'll do it for tomorrow. Someone I imagine can do it while we're here talking, but I want to know what it costs per episode. I want to know what $3 breaks down per episode.
All right. Don't ask me to do the math because you know I'm not going to be able to figure that out.
No, I haven't done it yet. I was going to just run the numbers, and I was like, oh, God, I don't even know if I want to see it, so I stopped. I want to read this, though. This email, this is pretty good. It came in 5:50 tonight from Rich. He wrote this in regard to yesterday's podcast. He said, I just listened to episode 3 and wanted to reach out for the first time. Joe, get ready. In parentheses, he wrote, Cherry.
Welcome, neighbor.
Yeah, we broke his cherry.
Yeah, he's a first.
He said, I'm excited that you two are taking ownership of your craft and moving into the podcast world with no restraints. So far, it reminds me of the old afternoon show, which I love and miss. After hearing today's story, I felt compelled to reach out. Dog, I'm sorry that you were told such negative things about your character.
Oh.
I can only imagine how difficult that was to hear, and I hope you didn't believe any of it. I'll pause there. He wrote more. I just want to say this, Rich.
That's nice.
It didn't hurt my feelings. What hurt is that I knew that he was wrong, and I couldn't go on and say what I wanted to say, and I couldn't retaliate. That's the only reason why it hurt, you know.
Just even having something like that said to you, that's hurtful. There's no need for something like that.
Yeah, but to take a beating with your hands tied around your back, that to me hurts way worse than having them untied. You know, we were just in a bad space.
Let's not get into what beatings it would take. I mean, that sounds pretty bad as well. I'm not going to compare the two. I mean, I wouldn't want to take a beating with my hands behind my back.
Well, I'm just saying, yeah, I think it hurts a lot more when you can't move than when you can.
My goodness, man.
He goes on to say, in my opinion, you've always struck me as someone who loves to give a hard time, but at the end of the day, you would have someone's back when it mattered, similar to a big brother.
Truth. A lot of truth in that.
Thank you. As cocky as you can be, you also speak with humility and have always come across as a genuine person. Anyone who thinks otherwise can suck it where it stinks. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Anyone who thinks otherwise obviously doesn't listen or didn't listen to the show.
Oh.
He also goes on. He says, I'll always appreciate the realness you bring. Joe, I felt for you during your divorce and can relate to your difficulties of being a single dad. Dog, I was devastated when you shared the death of Chester, the standard poodle.
Oh, man, that was a very sad day for all of us, dude. That was rough.
Very sad, but just saying his name makes me happy. I also appreciate you both not being shy to admit that you're going to therapy. Pause on that one. Not going, went. Okay, not going anymore. Joe's
I never really stopped. I just kind of motored through. I've had to take some breaks because I don't have insurance at the moment.
People talk so much about how much people need therapy and, you know, mental health, but it's kind of weird how some of the things you want or need most are the most expensive.
That's exactly right. Yeah. I have to dodge it hit and miss, but I get there.
He said, I wish more people would speak out and not be ashamed to address their mental health.
Me too. I do as well.
I don't know what mental health, what state I'm in, but that was just, and here's the other thing.
You're, let me just speak for you there. You're never really in a good state of mental health.
Me.
Yeah, you. I mean, you're always a little half cracked, in my personal opinion.
Well, I might be, but in my head, everything makes sense until the world goes haywire like it did. And and again, that was the thing too. It wasn't like I did crack, but there was so
You
much
didn't crack, dude. That was just a
uh
lot of negativity thrown at you, and that was a rough situation.
It wasn't so much the negativity, though. I mean, it was all, yeah, that was a big part of it. The fact that we were having the show taken away and we were watching it happen before our eyes, yeah, I would say that was the gist of it and the bulk. But when you look at everything else that was going on, every day something wacko was going on. And I mean, all that corona and all it was all just weird.
It was.
So,
It was a very weird time. It was
um,
weird for everyone in every family everywhere. That's what was crazy about it. It wasn't just weird for like one person here and there. Everybody was kind of like, "What
do you
the
think?
hell is going on?" Yes, I do.
See, I think some people were unfazed by it, depending on what they did or
Nobody was unfazed by that.
what about people, though, that went and got jobs for Instacart and started doing Uber Eats and all that? I mean, a lot of people may not have been making too much money or working at all, and they found instant employment. You know,
Sure,
so
but what I'm saying is nobody was immune to the fact that we had to stay in our homes, that we couldn't go to work, and cities closed down. That was fucking weird, wasn't it? That was a weird thing.
it was pretty weird.
Yeah.
He goes on to say, I've been a listener for a very long time since you two were at the meth lab, since Joe had to be stuck with Arnie, and through your adventures at the river. I can't wait to see where this next chapter takes you. Good luck. And yes, he writes, I did pay my $2.99 to help two starving artists. Thank you for sharing your voice and talent with Sacramento. And he signed it Rich. I had the screen off here. Let me just click back, and I just want you to. The lighting's so terrible, but you can see.
Oh, well, that's nice of you, bro.
So,
Thank you very much. Honestly, you guys say things that are the sweetest ever. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. We're going to get to this because there's a lot to get to. And all I got to say, I guess we have to preface this by saying, yesterday I found a photo of Joe, an actual photo when I was over at his place a week and a half ago. And I thought, God damn, this photo looks a lot like your face on Donald Trump. And I asked Joe,
stupid.
I said, Joe, when did you take that photo? He goes, I don't know, a couple of years ago. And I was like, wow, I think you look a lot like Trump. So what I had to do is I had to try to morph my face onto Donald Trump so we'd have matching photos.
Idiot.
And
yours matches better.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. Let's get really right down to it. Yours is a way better match than mine.
You can see the ring around my face. I swear to God, if Donald Trump put glasses on, it looks like your father.
That's so stupid. It blended in so nicely. Who did those for you? Did you do that?
I did those. I don't mean it looks like your dad. I mean it looks like it would be your father. And yeah, all you got to do is go. It's called like Trump face or whatever. I don't know. You just put your face on.
Ridiculous.
But a lot of people, as soon as those went up, and the whole thing is, we're 3 days into this presidency, and it was make American money again. And that's what I put up, soliciting for people to join this and us.
We're trying to make a little money ourselves. We're, currently, I don't have insurance. I'm going to try to get some because I don't want to be illegal, but I don't currently.
And people, they were triggered. Just the simple fact that they saw his face.
Oh, what do you mean? Really?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, it starts right up. And even one guy said, hey, I'm not a liberal. I'm just not a fan of Trump. And we're off to the races. So I hope. And this was a big problem, too, was common sense, logic, and comedy back when COVID broke. And I just want to say this before we get into these signatures and all these different things that Trump signed at the inauguration and just after. I just remember when nobody cared or knew how you voted. It didn't matter. That was the great thing. I've always said.
It still doesn't matter, in my opinion.
If you're a Raider fan, do you want to watch the Raiders play the Raiders? Well, not a Raider fan. And nobody wants to. The Raiders should be kicked out of the NFL. Whatever football team it is, do you want to see your football team play each other each week? Or do you want to have contest? Do you want to enjoy someone winning, someone losing, and there being a difference of opinion? This whole thing and this isn't a Trump thing. This goes way back to Newt Gingrich. He's the one that started this. This is
We
not
don't really
Trump.
have that anyway, in my opinion. I think it's meant to go the way it goes every single time.
Well, you don't know anything about politics or follow it, and that's why you've always thought that. And some believe in that, and that might even be the way it is. But a lot of people, they are now vocal about who they voted for, and I think people, if they didn't vote for Trump, they're going to be shut-ins, or they're going to keep it quiet, or vice versa.
Oh, you don't know. Don't feel like that and be like that if that's the case. Yeah,
It's crazy. So I hope people don't get kooky and take this in a political way, even though it does have something to do with politics. Some of this stuff is kind of crazy.
it looks stupid. Have you ever seen the one of him and Elon and they're like dancing? They're doing some kind of a break dance. It's on TikTok. And I mean, they've got them matched up with the faces and the bodies of the two people. Absolutely perfect. And
I haven't seen it.
It's stupid, dude. It's one of the most watched of those TikTok videos. And I mean, it is pretty well timed. And it's funny. It's just ridiculous. They're just stupid. They're just dancing, someone else's bodies.
Everybody gets triggered over something. So with that in mind, don't care how you voted. Doesn't matter. We're going to talk about these things that have gotten his signature. And I'll read this little piece. I thought this was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
Armed with plenty of black Sharpies, President Donald Trump shattered the record for most executive orders signed on his first day in office and became the only commander-in-chief to partly do so in an arena packed with thousands of people. But the nation's 47th president is already facing, oh my goodness, legal challenges for some of his most controversial executive actions, and others have stoked outrage. So we're going to get into some of these. He also said, with these actions, we will begin to complete the restoration of America and the revolution of common sense. That's what he said during his inauguration speech on Monday. And he said it's all about common sense. So, like him, love him. We've got 4 years, unless you can find a way to squeak.
Well, go get to him faster. There's a lot of a warm up. Just rip them out and let's get on down the road, Toad.
Yeah, there's a lot here, so we'll start with this one. President Trump's executive order list 2025. Let's get right to the immigration executive orders. As you know, he wants troops to go down. This will probably be National Guard. And what he wants to do is he wants to shut down all the cartels, all the bad people, but he wants security on the border. And
really?
He wants
like armed guards.
Yeah, that's what he's saying, and he's using the preface of them illegally entering as being a threat, like if it were provocation for war. We're being invaded is the word that you would use. So he says that the invasion of Mexican people or people coming through Mexico to gain entry.
Some would, I guess, see it that way. I mean, I don't know. I see it written that way.
Is a threat against America. So, okay.
Do we have enough people to line the entire border?
No, not probably the entire border.
Because that is a lot of infantry, men and women. I mean, I want you to think about that, standing shoulder to shoulder from end zone to end zone.
They're going to have technology and they're going to do more stuff with it. They're not going to be like, hand in hand.
That's kind of what I envisioned.
I want to start. Well, there would have been no reason to build a wall then. Let's start with the illegal aliens coming in. Mexico and the border. We'll get to the Gulf of America. We'll get to that coming up after this.
You better believe we will.
First of all, I want to start with something else, though. Governor Gray Davis, okay? Back in 2003, we had an energy crisis, .com bust, huge deficit, and unspeakable car tax, and all that stuff didn't matter because he said he wanted illegals to get driver's licenses so we could keep tabs on them. Well, not long after he said that, he was recalled. Okay, they bounced him out.
People didn't like that.
Well, I think that started in 0102, and he was out by October 2003.
Well, then you couldn't really have hit and runs anymore. Because there'd be a license plate, and you could catch people that way. I hear, my hit and run had a license plate with a person attached to it, but I hear of a lot of people that can't find the people that hit them.
Well, okay, licenses. I never said license plates. No, IDs and forms of a license.
Well,
Uh,
I mean,
not
I'm just assuming it would link to the vehicle you're driving, but you're right. Yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
no, they didn't have to drive to come over here or to not go to jail or get deported. They just needed ID. So as soon
Oh,
as he
okay.
said that, Schwarzenegger, he was elected and he came in and he gave everyone kicker checks for their vehicle registration. Everyone's like, yeah. So Gray Davis was bounced out. Now, I just think, this is my opinion, we should be working with Mexico and beef up partnership with them and then worry about China. Okay. And you got the farmers. See, everyone now, all these farmers that voted for him, they're like, oh, wait, holy shit, what are we going to do? What about our crops, Joe? You know, I've talked about this for years. Everybody hates illegal entries unless you're a border state or a border state
I
that
was just gonna.
grows
Most
as
of us
much
live right next
agriculture.
door to people. I mean, that would. I got some really good friends that
Well,
live in the neighborhood around me that
that
are
are
Hispanic.
undocumented?
Well, I don't know. I don't ask questions, but I mean, my next door neighbor can't speak very much English at
Um,
all. Who knows? I mean, he looks like he is. I've never questioned it. He drinks beer with me like he is. Who knows? What does one not look like? You
well,
can't tell.
I always thought that the Gray Davis thing. I think everyone should have papers, and you should do it the right way. I get
Well,
it,
sure.
but if you're gonna come over here, you're gonna come over here, and if he's giving him an ability to come work, it was one kind of kooky way to keep tabs. All right. And it's not terrible when you're California because these crops are going to die in the vine and the farmers are going to see, and then we're going to pay, and everyone's going to have scurvy in California because the people here that aren't from Mexico or that were born here naturally, they ain't picking fruit. Okay. Grapes of
He
Wrath
said
was a
this
long
my
time ago.
entire life to me, and I've said when there's jobs, people will work them. But as an unemployed guy, when I see the amount of jobs that are out there right now, I don't know if I mean there's a lot of people that aren't working that could be working right now.
Well, I know, but picking fruit in the summer and it's hard, it's dirty work.
That's the same
And
thing as farming, though, isn't it? I mean, there's a lot of farmers that are out there doing that. I mean, you're in the field all day.
the farmers are in the tractors or in their trucks or the farmers and the landowners, yeah, they do a lot of
I guess
work,
those tractors
absolutely.
do have quite a bit now.
But the people picking the crops and shaking the trees and doing all the hard stuff, they're not making a lot of money. So farmers are freaked out now, and I just think that we need to simply say to Mexico, do a better job to make our jobs easier, or we annex Baja. Okay, Baja's ours. That's all you got to do. Okay, and
We've already taken evidently a Gulf. I don't know if we owned that beforehand, did we?
well, the Gulf's been ours for a long time. I think it was law in 1988. We'll get to that coming up. But yeah, that's our sovereign area. The,
Oh,
the the Gulf of Mexico is ours,
you can't
but
swim there anyway. It's highly white shark infested.
well, not
Some say
safely.
some
Yeah,
say it's a shark nursery. I mean, it's very dangerous waters. I watch a lot of Discovery Channel.
we take Mexico, okay, or a part of it. Okay,
Mhm.
first we start with Baja, and then we work our way south to the mainland. All right. Do we get down to Guadalajara, Acapulco? I don't know how far we go. But what we do is we tell
Talking
them,
about an invasion,
well, no, 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 no. I'm talking about a deal. I'm talking about an agreement.
a land
Do,
deal. Oh,
well, it's not really a deal. It's like do this because we said so, or we're going to take Baja. We're going to
that's
start with Baja. We're
not
going to
fair.
expand California, and we're going to have a lot cheaper beachfront community to sell to the American people, and we're
can't
going to
do
expand our nation one chunk at a time. First Baja, then we're going to cross over in Arizona and Tijuana, and we're going to work our way down. And every time you let more people in through the border and don't do your job, we're going to take a chunk of your state. What that does is it gives us ownership and it extends our border width. Do you see what
Uh,
I'm saying?
no, you don't want any of that. That's dangerous times down there right now. Those cartels are mean. That's another whole army we'd have to fight.
See, people think they're conservative. They have no idea what I would do. I would take Baja, and that'd be up for grabs. We should also be selling citizenships for money. Okay, they meet our requirements and they get shipped. Okay, we ship them once
You
they're
are
legal.
first thing and first. You're out of control.
They get shipped. They meet our requirements, and once they are legal and they gain citizenship, ships removed. Welcome to America. Okay.
He's claimed this for years of his life. And I said, that's absolutely ridiculous. And he said, if you can catch me, you can chip me. If you can catch me, you can cage me.
Yeah.
So it's basically like anyone who can escape your nonsense.
No, I thought you were going to say my
unchipped,
net. I thought you were going to say the net.
I mean, my gosh, man, that's insane.
And here's the other thing I would propose to getting a better partnership with Mexico, okay? Because they neighbor us. We're connected.
This is what you think is going to get a better partnership with them.
This is me. Yeah. Some have said that we should treat one illegal, someone non-citizen from Mexico for 3 homeless people who are here. Why stop at 3? Okay. If we could do a conversion rate of 6 to 2,
you're an idiot.
That's better.
You are stupid.
So it's a rocky road, really, for people who are smart, and farmers are fighting this out. It's tough when you're in California. You live in Ohio. You live, in the middle America. You live somewhere else. It's like, yeah, shut the border. All these people coming in, terrorists, blah, blah. That's all true to a point, sure. But
that's not true.
But I think we need to do smarter things than spending a bunch of money.
What if if they're cool people and they don't break any laws, the rest of the people, now, if you're a bad person, you're breaking laws up here, you're robbing, you're doing all, what you shouldn't be doing. Yeah. See you later. You got to go. I
like the exchange, and the other thing, I didn't earmark or pencil this one, but Trump did say he wanted to reinstate lethal injection and get the drugs for all the states and put it back on the books.
That one creeps me out. I don't know why. I think it's just creepy,
I love it.
Creepy to have some needles in your veins, and that's what's going to get you. That is a creepy one.
Yeah, and that's why they got rid of it here long ago. Ew. And sadly, that was a sad day. It should come back. So that's the Mexico thing. Okay, that was the big one.
Boy, that took a long time is what I'm trying to tell you. That really got sideways. I don't think he said anywhere near that.
No, I did.
Okay.
That's me saying that as to what needs to happen. You don't just shut the borders and tell people you can't come in. There's got to be different things like land takeovers.
We're supposed to be just talking about what he did is what I'm trying to say here.
Really?
Got a little sideways there.
Oh, looking at something else he signed. Yeah. He said we get to be more American and Dog can say what he wants. Welcome to America.
Sure he did. Yeah, I don't believe any of that. No, that's not true.
Now to the Gulf of America. Okay.
That's a cool one. That is, everyone has to admit that does sound pretty cool.
It ain't going to happen.
To the Gulf of America.
It's not going to happen.
Why?
Because
that's actually the only one I really was behind 100%. I was going to like that one.
He could get this done, but it's a lot of work, and he can do this without anyone else, meaning from other countries or anything. But what they say is the Hydrographic Organization, they're the ones, okay? The United States and Mexico, they're all members of this, and they're the ones that usually name the seas. And it can be easier when a landmark or body of water is within a country's boundaries, like ours. Okay, so this is ours. Gulf of Mexico is mainly ours. It's our sovereign area, all the way to the soil.
Well, I don't know if a lot of Americans knew that. I mean, it is called the Gulf of Mexico. I think we believe maybe we owned half. We kind of had maybe we split the line down the middle, and then they owned. I don't think a lot of Americans knew that we owned that.
Yeah, here's the thing.
I sure didn't. I had no idea.
Joe always wants to go to the moon. He wants to see the flag that's up there and all the golf balls or whatever's up there. He thinks there's a sign. Hey, we were here.
There's a monolith on the moon. Everyone knows it.
Yeah. There's no sold sign, in the center of the Gulf of Mexico in the sea sand. But it is ours and has been, I think, law, or it was put in 88. That's when it officially became our sovereign area.
Okay, so that means we're not stealing anything. We could just make the name sound pretty bitchin'.
And here's the thing. It bodes well with him. And he's up there and he's rallying the troops, Trump that is, and he's talking about, hey, and shutting down Mexico. It's one more feather in his hat to get all the constituents rallied up and to get everyone jacked and pumped that he's going to get something done. In 2015, Obama.
Sounds like a lot.
What's that?
I said, that sounds like a lot. You start telling people that. That's a very big one. That's like creating a monument.
It is, and he's going to recreate, well, not a monument, but a landmark. In
Right.
2015, President Barack Obama approved an order so they can change Mount McKinley.
Okay.
And it's been called Mount Denali ever since 15, but Trump said he's going to come in and he's going to change it back to McKinley. And he wants it to be Mount McKinley. So, and he's also going to reinstate a lot of the landmarks, monuments, and school names that went away. The General Lees and the Hamiltons and all the different names that went away, all the Confederate stuff, they're going to get rid of, or they did get rid of. He wants to bring a lot of that back. So
I thought those statues got destroyed and stuff.
a lot of them did. Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
A lot of them did. And I said this back when we were on the radio, before the, new old regime took over. History's history. And you don't have to be proud of it, but to erase it and to change it. And, now Mount McKinley, I think what it should be is it should be a joke. Every time a president comes in and they want to rename it, that's what they do. So it goes from Mount McKinley, it goes to Mount Denali. Now it's going to go back to Mount Denali. It just keeps going and going and going. So I
don't think
of
Alaskans ever changed their calling of it. It was always Mount McKinley to them. I don't think they ever started calling it Denali.
Where do the River Cats play baseball?
In that stadium over there by the Yellow Bridge.
Yeah, Rayleigh Field.
Yeah.
it's Rayleigh Field. That's what always comes to mind with me.
I want to talk about how people can pardon people that haven't been charged for crimes. What sort of a thing is that? That's been happening quite a bit, that people are getting pardoned that haven't even been charged of a crime or even accused of a crime.
Yeah.
Now, what is that? I've never seen or heard anything such as that my whole life.
Okay, so we'll end this episode right here. Sorry we went along, got a little crazy, but
I mean, that is insane.
You've never obviously played Monopoly. They had something called Get Out of Jail Free. That's
Wow.
what those are.
Isn't that nuts, though? I mean, you're going to really pardon someone so that down the road, when the evidence comes through to be charged, they're going to be innocent. That is up, dude. Honestly, something shisty went down for that to happen. That's all I'm going to say. Something really shisty went down.
You're not going to like this, but you have to answer it. Okay. Hunter Biden's your son. Do you pardon him? Last day of office.
Well, yes, especially if I'm him, if I'm that Biden, because that's what, he's had such horrible things with his family and children. Hunter's still there. You got to, he's not, he didn't turn out quite like old dad wanted him to.
Yeah.
But maybe old dad doesn't know. I mean, he seems pretty old and fragile.
Joe Biden doesn't even, I think, know that he was our president.
He seems pretty old right now, man.
Yeah. It's, again, I reference Sopranos all the time, but it's like the last episode or so. Tony goes in to see Uncle Junior, and he talks about how he ran North Jersey. And Uncle Junior's glasses are all broken. He's like, I did? He had no idea. The dementia kicked in, and he was out of his mind.
It's so terrible, man.
They showed a thing the other night. They showed Biden when he was walking, like on day one, and they showed the last day. And they said, quite a different step, quite a different pace there. It's more of a shuffle than a walk. And he was dragging his feet. It looks like this time we were at a Food for Less. We stopped in on a Friday night to do a beer run, and the Clampers were in there doing an initiation. And they had this guy with a beard and a mustache, and he had on a nightie and a bunny tail and rabbit ears. But he had,
he did. Ridiculous.
And he had flippers, he had flippers on his feet, but they nailed or screwed 2x6s to it, so they were heavy, and they had They had him walking through the store, and he had to repeat what they said, and he had stuff all over him, and he had to walk through, and he was picking up items for the initiation. That's how Biden was walking. It looked like he was walking with flippers and chunks of wood screwed to the tips of them.
Poor guy.
So
that made him, that aged him. That aged him quite a bit, It really did.
I think every presidency does the damage. Back to Hunter and Biden, though, quickly. I ask people that because, I would. If there's no heinous crime involved, I would. Any president would do it. Don't think Trump wouldn't do it. Don't think any of them would have done that.
I just feel like it really aged him a lot.
We're going to stop right now, and we appreciate it. The $2.99, gratefully thankful.
Yeah.
Keep it coming, like and share. And I will tell you this, we are going to get into some normalcy and start doing shows like we used to do. This was kind of a big one. We are recording these, so you know, but this happened last night, so this one's pretty fresh. We're trying to stay on top of all this and keep the comments coming in. We're trying to get all the bugs worked out, and I promise you we will. And hopefully people, I mean, look at this. I mean, aren't they excited? We got rid of it. They're gone. The stupid gray shower curtains.
Look, we got the fire back. I have my ambiance again. Ah!
Yeah. The tantrum Joe threw to get us back here. It was not worth waiting for a light to ship. So I'm like, all right, here we go. And I wish.
I wanted to see the lights as well, you know. I wish. I mean, you got a cool wall, dude. You need to be proud of that thing. You got the little baby guitar framed in there. It's perfect.
Yeah, but you only get a little bit of Eddie. You know, you only get Eddie, and then there's the baby guitar. Can you? I don't know if I've talked about this. Can you see that above my finger? That wood.
Yep.
That black. Yeah, that's an autographed Alex Van Halen drumstick.
Oh, you can absolutely see that. Yeah. Once you say what it is, it really sticks out. Yep.
Yeah, I had another one. The pair, I don't know where it went. Forget it. We're done. Thank you so much. Like and share, and tell your friends. Keep the subscriptions coming. We could use the money, and we'll make tomorrow's funnier.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. There'll be no more political crap in tomorrow's. I promise you that. No, honestly, thank you, though. We do appreciate it. We do. We love you guys very much, and we thank you.
You don't think taking Baja, Mexico is a good idea? I want some beachfront land, man. It'd be cheap.
Not one iota of what you said today do I think was a good idea.
I want it.
Yeah, you were way off base, way out of touch, this fella. Thank you. We'll talk to you soon. Play nice.